What's up, YouTube? Team Movies here. Now, last night, I, of course, did my top 10 favorite movies of the summer, but everything, not everything in the summer I thought was gold. But I gotta say, there was actually more good films than bad films in the summer, in my opinion, obviously. But I had seen about 10 pretty piss poor bad films of the summer. So, yeah, I mean, I don't like it. Like, there's literally people who think I like every single thing. I don't like everything now, and these films definitely prove that. So, with that being said, here are my top 10 worst movies of the summer. Alright, coming in at number 10, it kind of pained me to really put this in my list. And it kind of pained me to even not like this film, because I, it kind of looked like it was gonna be a cute little charming film, a nice little romance flick. But I saw it and I just was really disappointed by it. Number 10 is going to The Sun Is Also a Star. Now, this is based on a book by the author who did Everything, Everything, which was also got turned into a really good little film. I was really disappointed by this. I really do like the two stars in this were actually pretty decent. No, you had Yahar Shahid from Blackish and Grownish fame. The dude from Riverdale, Charles Melton, was in this. Their chemistry was pretty decent. I'm not. I really quite liked their chemistry in this movie, but I found it to be pretty boring. The whole story part of it didn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, you even had a great cameo by John Leguizamo, and that was kind of a cool cameo. I really like John Leguizamo in this. And I was also disappointed by it because, you know, the, the film was also directed by the same director who did that movie Before I Fall, which I really quite enjoyed Before I Fall. But this movie I just really didn't like. This movie also felt like a ripoff of the Before trilogy. Like, seriously, if you watch this, it seriously felt like a ripoff of the Before trilogy and all. But yeah, this movie was really piss poor, and oh man, shame it wasn't so good because I really wanted to like it too. But it's what it is. Anyway, coming in at number 9 is going to be Ugly Dolls. Now, you know, Ugly Dolls, you had a really cool voice casting involved. You had Kelly Clarkson, you had Pitbull in this, you had Nick Jonas, some really good supporting players. Janelle Monáe was in this. So I was like, okay, I'll still give this one a shot. The only best part about the movie is the music. Like, seriously, the only good part about this whole movie is the music. It had some really cool pop music. It had some, hip hop music in this. I really quite enjoy the music. But the story, I just thought felt flat. I mean, the animation style was horrible. The story was pretty bland. I mean, summer 2017 had the Emoji Movie. This film is actually 2019's version of the Emoji Movie. It's that bad. I mean, I probably still prefer this over the Emoji Movie, but Ugly Dolls is still not good of film. So yeah. Anyway, coming in at number 8 is going to Angel Has Fallen. The third installment of the Olympus trilogy. You had Olympus Has Fallen, which I quite enjoyed. Olympus Has Fallen. You had London Has Fallen, which was not very good at all. So I was still curious to see Angel Has Fallen, but this movie felt flat. At times it was, pretty boring at times. The action, it had some pretty terrible action in it. The best part is actually Nick Nolte. I really quite like Nick Nolte in this, but you could tell he really didn't care either. It's another poorly. It's pretty much another piss poor Gerard Butler film, and we know how badly Gerard Butler does these terrible flicks. Yeah, I mean it's making some pretty good dough, so I won't be surprised if we see a fourth one. But yeah, Angel Has Fallen just probably disappointing. But all right. Coming in at number 8 is going to be Anna. Now, I was actually disappointed with this shoot. It's directed by Luc Besson, and I really love Luc Besson's work. I even enjoyed like some of his unpopular films, like Valerian. I actually also quite enjoyed that Robert De Niro movie he did a couple years back, The Family. I like Luc Besson's work, but this movie was just poorly made, terrible script. The lead actress Sasha Lust, I thought she was really decent in her part. You had Helen Mirren in probably one of her worst performances. Like, I love Helen Mirren, but yeah, she was not that good in this. You had Cillian Murphy in this, who should have had a better part. You had Luke Evans was in this. But the movie I just thought was also pretty boring. The script was just outrageously bad. Some of the action, like unlike Angel Has Fallen, the action was actually pretty decent. I really did quite like the action involved. But yeah, Anna is definitely a bad day in the office for Luc Besson. I mean, just because he's a great director, doesn't mean that he's not gonna do a bad film from time to time. I mean, even Steven Spielberg, has his bad day in the office, and sad to say, Anna was Luc Besson's bad day in the office. So yeah. All right. Now coming in at number 6 is going to The Intruder. The Intruder was god awful. You had probably Dennis Quaid's worst performance ever. You had Michael Ealy, and I like Michael Ealy, but he was pretty terrible in this. You had Megan Good, who I've always had a crush on Megan Good, but even she was really bland in this. I mean, it's another one of those typical obsession, terrible films that you'll see from time to time. Screen Jam does them pretty. Sometimes they do them well because I quite like The Perfect Guy, also with Michael Ealy, and I also like When the Bow Breaks, also with Morris Chestnut. I mean, this movie it was really stupid. The characters does stupid stuff in this. Dennis Quaid, I mean, he looked like he was just channeling his inner Nicolas Cage. I mean, this movie was just piss poorly done, and yeah. All right, coming in at number 5 is going to 47 Meters Down Uncaged. I love me a good shark movie. I like Jaws is a classic. I love me some Deep Blue Sea. I even get a kick out of the Sharknado franchise. But 47 Meters Down Uncaged was, oh god, probably even worse than the first film. You know, I just thought this movie was just blandly horrible. There wasn't. They called it a horror film, but it didn't even. It didn't even have great scares involved. The look of the sharks. I mean, the look of the sharks they were actually good. The acting was, except for the lead girl, Sophia Nellis, or I can't really remember her name, but the lead girl was actually really good in this. She's actually the better. I know she gave the better performance here. But I mean, this movie is another example that just because you're, celebrity, just because you're daughters of a famous celebrity, doesn't mean doesn't mean you could act that well. I mean, the film features the daughters of Jamie Foxx and Sylvester Stallone, and they need better acting lessons. They were not that good in this. But granted, it was their first feature, so I'm not gonna give them that much of a hard time, but and maybe it was also the script that they had to deal with too. Like it had a terrible script. They wasted Neil Long. How do you waste Neil Long like that? Like you had Neil Long in only like the beginning, and you just wasted her throughout the whole film. Like how do you do that to poor Neil Long? But whatever. You had John Corbett. I love John Corbett, but even he was bland in this. I mean, yeah. The best part about the movie is actually the kills. I really quite enjoyed the kills involved. But yeah, 47 meters down was piss poorly done. And yeah, and by the look at the box office, we probably won't have to endure another one, which is definitely good news. But yeah. All right, coming in at number 4 is going to be The Hustle. The not to be confused with that new Jennifer Lopez film, but if that Jennifer Lopez and Cardi B film, Hustle, ends up becoming worse than this, I'll be really shocked. But The Hustle, with Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson, a remake of one of the funniest '80s film there is, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Now I don't mind these female remakes and all. I quite like the 2016 Ghostbusters. I liked Ocean's 8, but this was bland. It was, I do love me a good comedy. Like, even unpopular comedies I enjoy. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of got a kick out of movie 43. I know lots of people is gonna go a different way to that, but I love movie 43. Sue me if you want. But The Hustle was god awful. It's probably one of the worst comedies I have ever endured. The two characters are really bland. They're really dumb. You don't really root for these two characters at all. I mean, it's definitely not that good of a film. I mean, like I said, if that Jennifer Lopez and Cardi B movie, Hustle, the stripper one, if that ends up being better than this one, I'm gonna be shocked. But yeah, I mean, we got like 2 movies out this year with the word hustle in the title. We had The Hustle and now Hustle. Well, I should say Hustlers, whatever it's called. But yeah. Anyway, definitely don't check out The Hustle. It's pretty bland. I mean, just skip The Hustle and watch 30 Rotten Scoundrels. You'll be glad you did. Alright, number 3 is really disappointing. Like, top 3 is literally the most disappointing movies of the year. 10 to 4 was terrible and all, but 3 to 1 are some of the most disappointing films. Like, these 3 I was actually looking forward for, but I saw them and I was just disappointed by them. Number 3 is going to be Men in Black International. I love the first 3 Men in Black movies. Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones. I love those 2 together. But, International, it should have been good. It was directed by F. Gary Gray, who also did, Fate of the Furious, and he did Straight Outta Compton and Friday. This movie should have been good. And, you also had Thor Ragnarok stars Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson. I love them both. But this movie was piss poorly done. It should have been also good because you had Liam Neeson. I'm a big Liam Neeson guy too. So, but this movie it wasn't really funny. The script was horrible. It was horrendous. I mean, the only best part about it was... Sorry about that. Anyway, the only best part about the movie, I gotta say, was actually a scene-stealing performance by Kumail Nanjiani's character. I quite like Kumail Nanjiani's character who played that little alien thing, who kind of resembles Jar Jar Binks in a weird way, but a better version of Jar Jar Binks. But yeah, Men in Black International I mean, the movie did not do well either. Like, it got released, like, it just went and gone. So yeah, and for good reason. It's just a really piss poorly done film. It just had, a terrible script involved. The 2 chemistry was good too. I mean, you'll expect Hemsworth and Thompson to have great chemistry, especially after Thor Ragnarok. But yeah, this definitely not a good film. All right. Now coming in at number two is also one of the most disappointing movies I endured this year. That's going to Dark Phoenix. I literally was gonna add Dark Phoenix as my number one worst, but my number one worst I thought was even worse than Dark Phoenix. But anyway, Dark Phoenix is arguably the worst X-Men movie there is. I'm not even flat joking. It is worse than Last Stand. It's worse than Origins Wolverine. This movie was piss poorly done. It had some really horrendous acting. The script was the script was flat out horrible. I guess I could see why, because they delay this loads of times. But Dark Phoenix it sucked. I'm not gonna be, I'm gonna be harsh on this movie. Dark Phoenix is horrible. It's horrendously bad. The Phoenix storyline. They had a second chance to do the Phoenix storyline perfectly, and they botched it once again. And not to mention, the movie did not do well in the box office either. So yeah, and hopefully, fingers crossed, New Mutants is a better film. I'm not having high hopes for New Mutants at all now, but hopefully New Mutants is great, and then hopefully Disney will do X-Men Justice down the line. But oh man, and this was also supposed to be the film to really showcase what Sophie Turner could do after a Game of Thrones ended. Sad to say, this did not do anything. Hopefully, Sophie Turner. Is it Sophia or Sophie? Yeah. Sophie Turner will end up having a better career once since Game of Thrones ended. But yeah, Dark Phoenix definitely did not do anything. All right, now coming in at number one, the worst movie I saw of the summer goes to The Kitchen. The Kitchen, starring Melissa McCartney, Tiffany Haddish, should have been great. Should have been an awesome film, because I do like them both, and it was supposed to be the film that really showcased what they could do outside of comedy. This is not only the worst movie I saw in the summer. I'm not lying. This is the worst movie I saw all year. So far, obviously. Wait. Alright. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, yeah, The Kitchen is definitely the worst movie I saw all year. Well, so far that is. Obviously, down the other movies could come down the line that could be even worse than The Kitchen, but this movie just is horrible. The characters are just bland. You don't really root for any of these characters. The script was just horrendously bad. Um, it just had some. It has some really terrible dialogue. Very horrendous script. It's just. It stinks. It stinks. It's just garbage. It's a shit kebab. Yeah, The Kitchen is just. Shame too, because I like both Melissa McCarthy and Tiffany Haddish, so I want to see a movie want to see them in a film that's very different than than what they're known for. But my God, this movie didn't do anything. And they also had Elizabeth Moss, and I quite like Elizabeth Moss too. I like Domino Gleeson was in this, but man, this movie is so bad. I really want you to like it too, because I like the trailers that they drop. I'm not gonna lie, I've raved about these trailers, and I really quite like the trailers, but the trailers didn't do the movie justice. Another example that just because a trailer is good doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. This is a good example for it. It's also probably one of the worst gangster movies I've ever seen. It's seriously the worst. It's actually, to me, it's probably Melissa McCartney's worst movie. It's Tiffany Haddish's worst film. It's horrendously bad, and it did not do anything in the box office. And I hate to say this because I don't. I don't wish for any movie should fail because people work hard on these films, but good riddance. This movie is that bad. I'm kind of glad it lost money, and hopefully we won't get another one. But I'm not gonna lie, I do hope we see Melissa McCartney and Tiffany Haddish in another movie together in the future, just in a better one. But that's my long rant on The Kitchen. But let me, let me do the quick rundown. All right, now the quick rundown. 10. The Sun is also a star. 9. Ugly Dolls. 8. Angel Has Fallen. 7. Anna. 6. The Intruder. 5. 47 Meters Down Uncaged. 4. The Hustle. 3. Men in Black International. 2. Dark Phoenix. 1. The Kitchen. Now, granted, there's not really a whole lot of other movies that I saw in the summer that was really bland. Like, there was a couple of Netflix releases, like The Last Summer wasn't really all that great. There was actually some movies that didn't get great reviews I just skipped entirely. Like the new movie with John Travolta, I kind of skipped that one. There was also Netflix's movie Wine Country. I wanted to like that because I like Amy Poehler, but that movie was pretty poorly done. Yeah, they're all actually like unpopular movies of the summer that I quite did enjoy. Like I liked Stuber. I quite like the Child's Play reboot. I quite like Godzilla King of Monsters, even though it should have been a better film, but I didn't mind that. I found these movies to be much worse. But let me leave it to you guys. What were some of the worst movies you saw this summer? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Team Movies signing off.